welcome to another edition of Virtual Breakfast Club. How was everybody this morning? Did you have a good evening? This morning we are going to work on how to install a zipper. And originally I was just going to show you on an overlocker. And I've decided that we're going to do not only how to install a zipper with an overlocker, but we're also going to look at how to put in an invisible zipper on a sewing machine. On an overlocker, you're really only going to be able to do a standard all-purpose zipper installation like you would in tote bags and things along that lines. So invisible zippers are definitely meant more for the sewing machine. Okay, so let's get started here on putting in a zipper. All right, we're going to start with the sewing machine. We are going to put in an invisible zipper foot. Now, we are going to use today foot number 35. This is the Bernina invisible zipper foot. This foot is going to be what you use to put zippers in invisibly, i.e. the name. Not only in garments, but you can also use this to put invisible zippers into pillows, anything. I would not try to put an invisible zipper in with any other foot. Okay. Good morning, everybody. You can do it with other feet, with a regular zipper foot, but it's really not going to be as invisible as you need. Now, I am not going to say that I am a tailor or a master garment sewer, but putting in invisible zippers used to make me nervous, but when I learned how to do it and got an invisible zipper foot, my first invisible zipper, you would have no idea that would have been my first invisible zipper. So we are going to take a look at those. Now, with invisible zippers, what's different about the foot, or what's unique about the zipper? Okay, on an invisible zipper, let me come back to me for a minute. On an invisible zipper, this is the front of the zipper. There's no coils on the front of the zipper. The coils are on the back of the zipper, okay, what would be the wrong side of the zipper. And so the intent is that, let me get the fabric out of the way, when you install the zipper, okay, that you won't be able to see any of the zipper tape, no zipper teeth. The only thing that you're going to see is the little zipper pull, okay? Seen a lot in pillows, seen a lot in dresses and skirts and things along that line. And so with that needing to hide the teeth of the zipper, or the coils, the number 35 foot has these two channels, these two grooves that that are in the bottom of the presser foot. And these channels are meant to peel back the coils. I really am awake, I promise. To peel back the coils, put the stitching right underneath the coils to help make this truly invisible. Okay? So, just going to turn on some cameras here for a moment. So that's what makes this foot unique. Okay, so that you're not trying to hold on to the coils and pull the coils back. Yes, the invisible zipper foot is the foot of the month this month. Okay, so the foot number 35 is 25% off through the end of August. There is only one version. There is no C and there is no D. Okay, because we're only sewing with a straight stitch. There's no zigzag, no nothing. So therefore we don't need to have the ability to do 9 millimeters wide and no dual feed necessary. So just 35. So we're going to put in an invisible zipper here. I am going to change over momentarily here to the machine camera. 1 second. If we can get the machine camera to cooperate here with us this morning. We are going to basically, with the zipper open, you're going to put the zipper right side down.
That's gonna be a big having trouble. Yes.
Nobody's said anything. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, ladies. I got to get a camera working here. Never fails. Never fails. I was doing so well this morning in the practice run. There we go. Now, let's see. All right, 1 second. I swear, goodness gracious. If it's not one thing, it's another. One second. All right. Maybe we'll cooperate here. 1 moment. I appreciate your patience. All right. I think I've almost got it. There it is. Yay, we have. Okay. So, we're going to place the microphone over here so that make sure that you can hear me. We're going to put the zipper right side down is the side where you don't see the teeth. Okay? We're going to align the tape of the zipper up to the raw edge of our fabric, and then we're going to unzip the zipper. Now, you can see here, if I hold this down, the teeth of these zippers can be rolled open, and the goal is to get the stitching underneath where these zipper teeth coil to. Okay? So that's what these channels are for. These channels are going to unroll the teeth, put our stitching in, and then let the zipper roll back over top. So when I'm sewing on the first stitch, I'm going to put the coil in the left groove, okay? I'm going to kind of open up the coil so that I can get the zipper into that groove. And then I'm going to sew all the way down. You do have a little bit of space in the number 35 foot to move the needle, left or right just a little bit if you need to fine tune or get just a little bit closer. So I'm going to start sewing. And you'll see the foot's going to uncoil that zipper for me. I can even move the needle over just a tad. I'm going to sew as far down as I can to where the zipper head is, and then I'm going to back stitch. Okay. And then we'll cut our thread. Pull that out. Now that zipper is attached to that side. What I want to do is I'm going to re-zip my zipper. And again, I'm going to put the next piece of fabric right sides together with my zipper teeth. I'm going to get everything aligned, matching my edges and everything, not just the edge where the zipper is at, but also the top and bottom edge of your item, because you don't want your zipper offset anyway. Wait 1 second, I'm going to put a pin or two in here just to hold this for me. Okay, so I'm realigned. I'm going to unzip my zipper. And we're always going to start at the top of the zipper. We're never going to start down here at the bottom. So we're going to flip our item around. We're now going to take, and get this out of the way, we're going to take the coils of this zipper. We're going to put them in the right hand side of the foot. This is challenging to do when you have a camera in front of you. Okay, maybe I got it that time. Your Bernina freehand system comes in handy to give you yet another hand to use. All right, there we go. Get started sewing. Move my needle position just one space over. I'm going to sew up to the pin and move it. Pin out. I'm going to sew down as far as I can to the zipper head. Back stitch. Cut my thread. And now when I go to zip my item up, zip my fabric in it. Where'd my zipper go? Okay, completely invisible unless you pull on the fabric. But if I were to put this into a garment, the only thing that you can see is going to be your zipper pull. Okay, that's there. Let me show you. There it is. Nice and beautifully invisible. Can't hear me. So that's an invisible zipper foot. It's really not difficult to use. It's not challenging. It does make putting in invisible zipper much easier. Okay. Now, if this were a pillow, you can see that obviously you've got an opening here that you're going to need to sew. So when we have something that we would sew, we need to sew the sides across the bottom. We need to close up this hole first. So you put your fabric right sides together and you're going to sew the same seam allowance so that it aligns with this. So you would just come down and sew right to where you started sewing the zipper in, and that will close, that would close the top up. Okay? And then you can sew down, around, and up. And the same thing down here at the bottom. We would fold our fabric in half and sew up to the point of where you started stitching. That's just if it's a pillow. Typically, if this was a skirt, you wouldn't really have to worry about it because the top would be caught in a waistband. This bottom section, you would just continue on stitching your seam. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, you can also put in a zipper with an overlocker. Okay. That overlocker, or actually let's do one thing. Hold on one second. Let me just review those with the PowerPoint here. So here is the first side of the zipper, okay, being put in using the right-hand channel, okay, and then the second side of the zipper being put in with the left-hand side of the channel. And yes, you can always have your zipper longer than what you need. That way you can truly get your zipper head all the way out of the way. So if you need an 8-inch invisible zipper, you may want to look at more like a 10-inch invisible zipper and just use only 8 inches of it as you're inserting, and then you can trim the excess off. It just helps get the zipper head out of the way, but it's completely optional. All right. Now, let's look at installing a zipper on an overlocker, okay? There are 2 options of presser feet that you can use when you are installing a zipper with an overlocker. One is the standard presser foot that came on the machine, okay? And then there is the option of a multi-purpose foot. That multi-purpose foot is an optional presser foot for most machines, and I will show you how that's done here in 1 second. But this is putting in a zipper, okay, with an overlocker, and on the inside, it sure is, this is, yes, being recorded. It'll be up here on Facebook, as well as I will move it to YouTube later this afternoon. So on the inside, you basically, with an overlocker, that seam will be finished, okay? Then you can also go back and top stitch and do all of that as well. But how to put in a zipper. And we're going to make a quick little zipper bag. If you need charity, anything along that lines, I know that we do a lot for shelters and homeless organizations with like toiletry bags and things along that lines. And usually I have a customer who collects them throughout the year if anybody has them, and then she puts together some sets. So this is an easy way to use your overlocker and some zippers to make easy, quick, inexpensive out of your fabric scraps of any sizes you want on your overlocker. So let's take a look at those options. First up is going to be a multi-purpose foot. The multi-purpose foot on an overlocker is what you would use to make piping and to make put beads on the edge of a fabric and things along that lines with the multi-purpose foot. With using the multi-purpose foot to put in a zipper, you're basically using the groove that is running in the foot that has been put there to ride over top of piping or anything along that line, sequins, and you would run the zipper through that groove. With using a multi-purpose foot, your zipper is going to go down towards the overlocker and your fabric is going to go on top, okay? And you're just going to kind of feel for that and then stitch down from the top down to the bottom, okay? Again, usually with an overlocker, we are using a zipper that's longer. As with most things when we're sewing, we're usually using a little bit longer so that you can keep your zipper head out of the way, as well as with it being longer, you're not, having to be right exact on the edge of something or working within that. It's just nicer to have it longer so you can keep your zipper stop and zipper pulls out of the way. You also will be using a 4-thread overlock stitch when you do zipper insertion. You can use a 3-thread as well, but 4 thread's really going to give you the true coverage of the width of the zipper tape. On an overlocker, we do put the zipper in closed. You don't have to, but we are going to use the zipper closed up to a point, but we will install it zipped up. Okay. You are going to, there was something I wanted to say and now I have forgotten. Oh, no metal zippers. That's the important thing. Installing a zipper, it's not a big deal. When you're installing a zipper, if these teeth are metal, it's not a big deal because you're not stitching into these teeth, okay? But when we go to make this tote, this little zipper bag on the Overlocker, we are going to serge across the teeth to sew up the sides, and you don't want those to be metal. This is an all-purpose nylon zipper that we're using here today, okay? So that's the multi-purpose foot, and I'll show you what that foot looks like in real time here in a moment. But I also want to show you the standard presser foot, and this is the foot that comes on your machine that you can very easily use to insert zippers. It's usually the one that I use because I'm somewhat not always able to find my multi-purpose feet. So there is some helpful markings on your presser feet, okay, on your standard presser foot. And specifically, they are the notches that are here, okay, on the end of the foot, okay. Usually you have a notch that indicates the left and right needle, and you'll have a notch that indicates the location of your knife, okay. And then you have another little notch that is all the way to the far right that we're going to use to align with our zipper teeth, okay. So when I go to do this, and we're gonna actually make one here in just a second. Here's these notches that I'm talking about, these indicators. The one on the far right is aligned with the knife of the machine. So anything that is falling to the right of that notch is going to get cut off, okay? It's not a big deal. We're going to finish the edges. You can cut off some of that zipper tape. But just as a visual reminder, anything that's to the right of that is going to get removed, okay? The next little notch is aligned with the right needle, and the next notch is aligned with the left needle. So not that we use it as much here for this particular project. You kind of know, okay, where is that needle going to fall? Is it going to fall into some place I don't want to stitch? So yes, on this, you don't want these notches anywhere near your actual zipper teeth, because then you're going to serge your zipper shut and you won't be able to unzip it. And the very last little notch here is what we're going to use to ride on top of the teeth, okay? So that we will keep that notch centered, okay, down those teeth so that we can stay straight and in alignment, okay? All right, so let's make one. Oh. Yes, Grady, bring me your vest and I will fix your zipper for you, since your mommy won't do it. This is that multi-purpose foot, okay? So the multi-purpose foot, when you're using it, you would place this groove of the foot right on top of the zipper teeth, and then you can serge, okay? And it just rides right over top of it. Okay. With the standard presser foot, and I'm going to put one side in with one foot and one side in with the other. Okay. I have a standard presser foot on right now. Here's my little align, my mark, and these are my 2 needles, and then this one here is I have to stand up to do this, is my knife. Okay. So I'm going to get this back underneath the foot, but in front of the knife, so that we can start cutting. And I'm going to align this up here with the center of the zipper teeth, okay? My zipper is right side down to my fabric, and I'm going to stitch. So I'm just keeping, as I'm stitching, I'm just keeping that aligned. zipper in. Okay, nice, even, consistent edges, nice and finished, and we don't have an issue. Now, what we're going to do here is, let me change the camera. Okay. So, zipper in. I have a rectangle of fabric, okay? It's up to you as to what size that rectangle of fabric is in terms of what size bag you want to make. 10 to 12 inches in width. It all also depends upon your zipper. If you've got 12-inch zippers, maybe a 10-inch rectangle. You got 14-inch zippers, you can do a 12-inch rectangle. And I've got it about 16 inches in length. Okay. I'm going to take the bottom of my bag. I'm going to fold it up to the top, and I'm going to put it, again, right sides together with my zipper teeth. Okay, so right side of the fabric is to the right side of the teeth. I'm going to align it up so that, making sure that all the left and the right edges are matched. I'm going to use Wonder Clips. I'm not a big pinner on the serger because I don't want to serge over a pin, because then that means you're going to need a new knife on it. So I like to use Wonder Clips because those are going to be a little bit more obvious for me to remove. Okay. Let's go back to the machine here. I'm going to change presser feet. So I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to take that foot off, and I'm going to put this foot back on. Okay, so this is the multi-purpose foot. Now, with the multi-purpose foot, remember, I want my zipper teeth up. Okay, so I'm going to put this foot underneath. The teeth here are riding in this groove, and I'm going to start to stitch. For me, I prefer with the multi-purpose, I prefer with the standard foot. I can just see my zipper teeth a little bit better. To me, this is like serging blind. Now, ultimately, if you're, let me show you that. Okay. Again, wrong direction. Nice and finished. Okay. Zippers on the end. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, first most important thing to do, take your zipper and unzip it about halfway. Okay. Unzip it about halfway. I'm going to take, and I'm going to turn this so that I have about, an inch to 2 inches, inch and a half. This is your bag. It's completely your choice as to how much you want to put there. So give me 1 second and let me put some clips here so that you can see it. So we're basically turning it over so that we have a header, and that the zipper, if we just left it the way the zipper would be along the top. Okay. And so I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to pin it like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my regular foot, because I'm not paying, I don't have to do anything with the zipper teeth, nothing. We're just serging a standard edge now. Okay. All right. So, come over to my machine. I want to obviously cut off this, okay? I want to serge my edges even. So I'm just going to come over far enough. I'm not any particular seam allowance, your choice. You'll see the knife just cuts right through it. Okay, there's one side. I'll turn it around. I'm going to go from the other. Now, when I get close up to the top here, I want to make sure that I get my zippers close together before I serge over them. So you don't want them to have a space between them. You want to butt them kind of right up next to each other. All right. Okay, there it is. Basically 4 seams and you have a zipper bag. Reach in the hole where you left your zipper unzipped and you can turn this right side out. Oh, I was wondering. Stitch length was really big. I was wondering why it looked kind of funny. So this bag is based serged together. That's okay. It serves the purpose of showing you today. There it is. All serged together, zipper in, nice and pretty. Very, very easy. I didn't even iron a thing. So, there it is. Move the serger out of the way so I can maybe make this a little bit so that you can see. There it is. Quick and easy. Very easy to do with home deck fabric. If you wanted this just being cotton, if you wanted it to be a little sturdier, you could interface this, okay? Home deck, canvas, anything along that lines, that is there for you. SF 101 on the back side of this would be just fine. You could even do this with 2 pieces of cotton together, just to give it a little bit more, and especially if maybe on the inside here you wanted, when you open it up, to be a different fabric. You would just put your fabrics wrong sides together and then do this, all of these steps just the same. Oop. Step on the presser foot there. Okay. So that's zippers on a serger. Very easy to do, okay? I suggest that today you go grab a random zipper, okay? And try it. Yes, you can use a vinyl. You can use vinyl on here. You can use vinyl, leather, cork. Yes, you could totally make this bag out of cork. Quick, easy, that type of thing. So, yes, with a serger, you can pretty much serge anything that you could put through your sewing machine, you could put through your serger. Okay? Denim. Oh, this would be really good for denim, especially if you're, going to upcycle. You could cut your legs of your denim up. They're, probably just about this big from seam to seam, and make some little zipper pouches out of that. So, yes. Now, remember, up on the website, under the YouTube tab, I've already put the PDF for this project up there, and on the very last page are references or links that you can put in with, that you can click from inside the PDF that will take you through things. So let me pull up one of them, because since we're talking about sergers, let me pull up a web browser. This project, this link that's in the references from the We All Sew blog, uses vinyl or the mesh, so the Annie's mesh, to make a zipper bag. You could use it to put your masks in and throw them all in the washing machine to wash. The vinyl one you could use for storage, or, you know, all those power cords and recharging cables and things that we have. So this talks about showing you using mesh and vinyl that's there. Now, the other question that I just saw was a lace zipper. A lace zipper, let me find, okay, let me get to, so this is a lace zipper. Let me make it bigger so that you can see. So a lace zipper has to be done by sewing machine, unless you have a serger that does a chain stitch. If you have a serger that does a chain stitch, you could put a lace zipper in using the chain stitch. But ultimately, a lace zipper or a decorative zipper tape is meant to be an exposed zipper, okay? And so therefore, you lay the zipper on top of your already finished seam section. You sew it in place using a straight stitch, a triple stitch, anything along that lines. And then you cut the seam open from behind the zipper. Okay, so lace zippers have to be done on a sewing machine. Now, the question about Serger Tails. Give me 1 second and I'll show you what I do with Serger Tails. See if I've got something here. Yes. So a Serger tail. If I was going to sew over it, again, I'm not going to bury a Serger tail. We bury tails so that we can lock them in or keep them from unraveling. So, for example, the tails that were on the ends from where I put the zippers in, I wouldn't bury, because I'm going to serge across it, and that's going to lock that stitch. However, the tails that now are on the side seams of my bag, I would technically want to secure, if you wanted to make sure that, you know, somebody doesn't sit at it and start picking at it. And it's going to take a lot to, it would take a lot to get it to unravel per se. So I wouldn't overly stress, especially if this, you know, is like charity or anything along that lines. So the way that I bury tails, that there are techniques that have you, let me get into the camera shot here, that have a technique that you can, you know, wrap the serging tail back around and serge over top of it. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like what the look of it is. Even though it's the inside of the project, I just don't like the look of it. So I prefer to use, this is a double eye needle. And not a double eye meaning there's two eyes on one end. There's literally an eye on both ends of this needle. So what I do is I'm going to thread the needle through the serging seam. Then I'm going to thread the tail through the eye of the needle, and then I'm going to pull it back through my stitching. Okay? And then I can cut that. You only need to do about 5 or 6 inches. That's only about 3 inches. You don't need to do the entire length of whatever your thread chain was. So whenever you start and stop, especially if that's the last seam, You want to make sure that you leave yourself a tail. Like, I didn't really leave myself a tail right here, but that's okay. But just so you can see that again, I'm going to thread my needle through the serging thread, through my seam. I'm going to bring my tail up, through the eye of the needle, and then just carefully pull it back through your seam. Okay, and voila. They're buried. They're nice and clean on the end. Okay. Yes. So with the tails where I didn't leave anything for me to secure, you could put a little fray check on those ends. So I have the two ends here. A little fray check on these ends will help kind of glue it and secure it in place. Okay. All right. Well, that's sergers and invisible zippers. Serger zippers and invisible zippers. Okay. That's there for you to do. So just as a reminder, here's what it looks like. The inside of a serger, and then what it looks like after it. And now you could easily, if you wanted, after you serged it on the sewing machine, you can, on the overlocker, you can go back to the sewing machine and fold this down and top stitch this. Okay? So yes, you can go to the sewing machine and top stitch it. You can't top stitch it on the serger, but you can top stitch it on the sewing machine, unless you have a cover stitch, and then you could use the cover stitch to top stitch. But otherwise, you are gonna move back to the sewing machine to do your top stitching. Well, I hope that everybody enjoys the rest of their Saturday. I think the rain has moved out. It doesn't look like they're calling for rain today. So you maybe will be able to, I don't know, it could be a little too hot. I didn't look at the temperature it was supposed to be today. But I hope that everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend. Thank you so much for taking time this morning to join me for sergers and sewing machine zippers. And if you have any questions, like I said, I will post this. It'll stay here on Facebook. If you go to the Material Girls Quote Boutique Facebook page and click the live tab, all the lives are listed there. You don't have to roll and scroll through the entire feed to find it, because the feed's not always in numerical or date order. And I will also move it over to YouTube. And so if you, for even quicker, you can go to the YouTube, search Material Girls Quote Boutique. If you've not already subscribed, do so. And I have a playlist where all the breakfast clubs are there. And then if you can't remember that, which is just okay as well, you can go to our website. Oops. You can go to our website. At the top of the page, you can travel over to the YouTube tab that we have there. I'm going to see if I can't make this. No. And then you can click on YouTube and then scroll down, and here's all the presentations from 2020 and 2021 are on here. You can click the links for the presentations, and also if you click the link, it will take you right to the video. Okay? So they'll be there for prosperity, so you'll be able to go back if you're not watching or not needing to put a zipper in today, but maybe in a few weeks, you'll be able to go back and reference. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and we will see you all soon. Bye.